In a small, vibrant town filled with colorful houses and charming cafes, life appeared exciting and cheerful. Bright flowers lined the streets, and laughter echoed from the park nearby. In this lively place, many people rushed about, chasing their dreams and sharing their lives online. Among them was Adeline, a young woman who seemed to have it all. She worked as a successful graphic designer. Her friends looked up to her, and her social media thrived with likes and comments. Adeline posted beautiful pictures and inspiring quotes every day. On the outside, life sparkled, but inside, things were different. Adeline's day began with a glowing sunrise that cast warm light through her bedroom window. She woke up early and immediately reached for her phone. The first thing she did was check her social media accounts. Her heart raced as she scrolled through endless posts, looking for approval and affirmation. She craved the likes and comments from her friends and followers. Each notification felt like a small victory. But when the likes were fewer than expected, a wave of fear washed over her, and doubt crept into her mind. Despite her success, Adeline felt very anxious. She wore a smile at work and joked with her colleagues, but inside, her mind raced with worry. Every day felt like a challenge. As she designed new projects, she often feared that people would not like her work. She doubted her skills and questioned each choice. When someone offered feedback, she felt its weight heavy on her heart instead of seeing it as a chance to grow. Adeline often took long walks to clear her mind, but even these quiet moments were filled with nagging thoughts. Adeline depended heavily on social media for support. She believed that showing a perfect life would bring her happiness. But deep down, she was lonely. The constant need for likes and comments left her tired. After work, she felt exhausted, scrolling through photos of friends having fun. Each post reminded her that her life wasn't as exciting as others seemed to be. Despite the colorful posts and smiling faces, she felt small and disconnected. The endless comparison drained her energy and joy. After a long day, Adeline returned home, yet her mind became restless. She often lay awake at night, worrying about how to present herself online. The pressure of a certain image consumed her thoughts. She would create the perfect posts but felt emptiness afterward. Those fleeting moments of attention never filled the gap she felt inside. Adeline often wondered, "Am I enough? Do they see me? Or just a picture?" These thoughts turned her happiness into confusion, leaving her in an emotional fog. As the sun set each day, Adeline's joy faded. Behind her cheerful posts was a battle no one could see. She felt the weight of loneliness pressing down. Each new day brought the same cycle of searching for approval. Hidden beneath her successful exterior was a heart yearning for true connection and kindness. Would she ever find the courage to break this cycle? Little did Adeline know, the adventure of self-discovery awaited her, ready to unfold among whispers of hope and magic. One bright morning, Adeline faced a day that would change her life. She had a big presentation at work. Her team was counting on her design skills. The project was crucial, and everyone was excited. Yet, as the hours passed, Adeline could feel her anxiety rising. It clenched her stomach like a tight fist. What if they did not like her work? The thought grew louder in her head. It filled her with doubt as she kept rechecking every detail of her presentation. As the meeting began, Adeline felt lightheaded. Even though she had prepared, standing in front of her colleagues felt overwhelming. She glanced at the clock, her heart raced. When it was her turn to speak, her voice trembled. Words that usually flowed easily seemed lost. She spoke quickly, and her face turned red. When her boss pointed out a mistake in her design, Adeline's heart sank. The room felt heavy. She wanted to disappear. Tears pricked at her eyes, and suddenly, it all became too much. In that moment of pressure, her anxiety broke free. After the meeting, her coworkers offered kind words, but Adeline only heard empty sounds. Instead of feeling comforted, she felt exposed, as if everyone could see her weaknesses. A pin drop could have broken the silence of her inner turmoil. She hurried out of the office, angry at herself and overwhelmed with shame. That quiet walk home felt endless as thoughts of failure, embarrassment, and insecurity swirled in her mind. How could she pretend to be confident when she felt so lost? When Adeline arrived home, she felt defeated. Sitting on her bed, she let the tears flow freely. The weight of all her emotions crashed down. She realized how deeply she depended on others' approval. Now, that desire crushed her spirit. In that moment, it became clear that she needed help. She couldn't keep holding on to these feelings. They were too heavy to carry alone. With shaky hands, she opened her laptop and searched for ways to feel better. She found a blog about emotional healing. The author spoke about self-care and managing stress. Adeline felt a small spark of hope. Reading the words gave her a sense of power she hadn't felt during the meeting. Here was a chance for change. She decided to try out some self-care methods. At first, she started small. Adeline wrote down her feelings in a journal. Each page was like a breath of fresh air. Each word was a step toward understanding herself. As she wrote, she let go of some pain. It felt good to release her worries. Adeline also explored breathing exercises. Each deep breath pulled her away from the noise in her head. Some days she would take peaceful walks in the park, reminding herself of the beauty around her. She watched the flowers sway and listened to birds sing. These quiet moments helped her connect with nature. Slowly she felt lighter, like the sun breaking through clouds. Each new day brought a chance to face her fears. With time, Adeline began to uncover her inner strength. Although her journey was just beginning, the toolbox of self-care methods filled her with a sense of hope. She could see a path ahead. The simple act of caring for herself opened doors to resilience and growth. No longer would she hide behind a smile. She was ready to embrace the road to self-discovery and healing, step by step. As days passed, Adeline struggled to shake off the feelings of sadness and doubt. The weight of her emotions seemed to press down even harder. Each morning, she woke up feeling heavy-hearted. Her mind was full of worries. How could she overcome her feelings? Why was she so afraid? These questions danced around her thoughts, making it hard to focus. The things that once brought her joy now felt distant. Even her favorite places seemed less colorful. After a few nights of restless sleep, Adeline realized she could not journey alone. She felt desperate for help. She wanted someone who could understand her confusion. Maybe talking to someone could help peel away the layers of hurt and sadness. That's when she remembered the emotional healing blog she had read. Brave words from the author inspired her. "It's okay to ask for help," were the words that rang in her heart. Slowly, she picked up her phone and searched for local therapists. Scheduling the first appointment was not easy, but she knew it was important. On the day of her appointment, Adeline stood in front of the mirror, feeling nervous. She wore her favorite shirt but barely recognized herself. The reflection showed a woman struggling to hold her smile. Taking a deep breath, she left the house, each step feeling heavier than the last. Still, hope sparkled somewhere deep within, urging her to move forward. In the therapist's office, Adeline felt uncomfortable at first. The room was cozy, filled with soft chairs and warm colors. When the therapist, a kind woman named Sarah, asked her to speak, Adeline hesitated. It felt strange to share her fears and secrets with someone new. Moments passed, like crawling thoughts slipping through her fingers. Finally, she began to talk about her worries and how her life felt out of control. As she shared, something inside her lifted. The tears flowed again, but they brought a sense of relief. Sarah listened carefully. With gentle guidance, she helped Adeline unravel her thoughts. They spoke about the pressure of social media, how it made Adeline feel alone instead of connected. Each word they shared uncovered more truths about Adeline's feelings. In the safety of that room, Adeline felt her heart begin to heal. She was not alone in her struggle. Each session brought new insights, like stepping stones lighting up her path forward. Inspired by their discussions, Adeline added new routines to her day. She explored mindfulness practices, starting with short meditations. At first, sitting still felt hard, but with each practice, she learned to breathe and feel. She discovered the peace found in quiet moments. Morning walks soon became part of her everyday life. As she walked, she paid more attention to her surroundings, the sounds of chirping birds and the beauty of blooming flowers. The fresh air filled her with energy, bringing her joy back. Adeline also started journaling more deeply after therapy. Each evening, she filled pages with her thoughts and feelings. Writing became a safe space where she could express her fears and celebrations, big and small. On days that felt dark, her journal reminded her that change was possible. It provided a place to reflect on how far she had come, and with every entry, she felt stronger and more alive. As Adeline continued to seek support and learn about self-care, she could feel the spark within her reignite. The journey was not easy, but she learned to embrace her emotions. She realized that healing is not a straight path. There would be ups and downs, but each step forward made her sense of self grow. Adeline was ready to face the beautiful adventure of discovering who she truly was. Adeline felt a growing sense of hope after her therapy sessions. She began to understand her emotions more and learn to express them. But the road to happiness was not easy. Each day presented new challenges. On mornings when she woke up feeling light, the burdens of yesterday returned by lunch. Life was a mix of bright moments and heavy shadows. Journaling was a helpful tool, but sometimes it felt hard to find words. The pages stared back at her, blank and waiting, while her thoughts tangled together like a jumble of string. During her nightly writing, Adeline often wrote about her feelings and ideas for change. She hoped to build a new life with confidence. On some nights, the words flowed easily, spilling out onto the page. Other nights, she would stare at her journal and feel lost. The evening silence felt heavier, thick with doubt. Can I really change? Can I really learn to express myself? These doubts whispered quietly in her mind, almost like a shadow following her. Despite her efforts, moments of sadness still crept in without warning. There were days when she felt on top of the world. But then out of nowhere, fear would wrap itself around her, filling her with uncertainty. For Adeline, understanding her emotions was still a work in progress. She wanted to be free from the chains of anxiety but didn't know how. At times, she would look at her work, the smiley faces and photo comments fading into gray. The approval she once craved didn't feel strong enough to fill the gaps inside. Adeline started to practice mindfulness, but she struggled to keep her thoughts in check. Sitting quietly for even a few minutes felt like a battle against herself. The noise in her head would drown out the calm. During her attempts at meditation, her mind wandered to all the worries she tried to escape. Thoughts about work, appearance, and social media swirled like leaves in the wind. Instead of peace, she felt frustration. She wondered if this was how it would always be. Yet Adeline did not give up. She felt deep within that the journey was important. So, she attended her therapy sessions, which became a space to unpack her struggles. After discussing her challenges with mindfulness and journaling, Sarah gently assured her that growth takes time. "You are learning, Adeline. Emotions come and go, and that's okay," she said. Those words stuck with Adeline. She began to accept that learning to manage her feelings wouldn't happen overnight. One afternoon, feeling particularly troubled, Adeline returned home and poured her feelings into her journal. The words jumped on the page like vibrant colors. Sometimes, the best tool she had was simply to write freely. She let every word flow without judgment. "I feel lost," she wrote. "Some days I am okay, but others I just want to hide." By putting her feelings down like this, Adeline felt a tiny weight lift. It became clear that emotional management was challenging. Adeline faced a journey filled with ups and downs, like waves rolling gently on the beach, sometimes crashing, sometimes calm. She began to understand that every struggle was a step toward growth. The more she tried, the more she realized that healing was not a straight line. With this realization came a sense of freedom. Adeline felt proud of herself for daring to share those raw feelings. Each time she faced her fears, her power grew stronger. It was hard, yes, but with every struggle, Adeline began to trust that she was capable of change. Slowly, she learned to embrace her journey, knowing that building emotional intelligence took patience and self-love. The beginning was just that, a beginning, but now she felt ready to explore all that lay ahead. The day had started like any other, but an unexpected wave of doubt crashed over Adeline, pulling her down. She stood in front of her closet, ready to choose her outfit for a big meeting at work. Today was important. Her team would present their latest project to a panel of executives. Yet, even as she picked a stylish dress, a voice in her head whispered, "What if they don't like you? What if you embarrass yourself?" The thoughts felt tight like a noose, choking her confidence. As Adeline got ready, her heart raced. The feeling of anxiety twisted in knots in her stomach. She stood in front of the mirror, trying to see the confident woman everyone else saw, but all she could see were her flaws. The small scar on her chin and her slightly crooked smile filled her with self-doubt. "You are not good enough," the voice echoed loudly. It reminded her of all the times she had felt less than others, of moments when external approval defined her worth. This inspired fear and confusion in Adeline as she prepared for the day ahead. Arriving at work felt overwhelming. The energy was high, but her heart felt heavy. As her team gathered, Adeline struggled to focus on what everyone was saying. All she could think about was the growing anxiety in her chest. What if she stumbled over her words? What if she could not answer questions? Each thought sent her spiraling deeper into fear. Just then, she saw her colleagues laughing and put together. They seemed confident, just piles of radiance. Adeline could not see how small and unsure she felt next to them. When it was time to present, Adeline felt like a deer in the headlights. The room filled with eyes on her, and her palms grew sweaty as she gripped her notes tightly. She began speaking, but for a moment, it felt like the words had vanished into thin air. A bead of sweat rolled down her back, and in that instant, her mind drifted to memories of past failures. The time her classmates dismissed her ideas in school, the hurtful comments from people online, memories of not being picked for teams, all surged back with clear precision. They sat heavy in her chest, and she felt the walls closing in. In desperation, Adeline closed her eyes for a second. Should she let the dark weight of her past define this moment? Should she allow fear to win once more? The confusion roared, but amidst the noise, a glimmer of hope flickered inside. She reflected on her journey of learning. No one was perfect, including herself. Each day had been a step forward, and she had begun to discover her true self. Taking a deep breath, she reminded herself that healing meant facing these fears, not avoiding them. Adeline found a firm grip on her voice and decided to share her truth. If this meeting was about the project, it should also include her passion. With strong courage, she spoke openly about her challenges. Rather than focusing solely on the details of the design, she talked about the journey her team had taken. She admitted her fears about facing the panel and shared her hope for growth, not just for herself but for everyone. With honest words flowing, she felt bright sparks of joy replace her anxiety. A smile crossed her lips. Even if some old wounds still lingered within her, she realized she had power over her path. Adeline was ready to choose healing over fear. In that moment, under the bright lights of the meeting room, she made a critical choice. Instead of being trapped by past habits, she decided to embrace the present. She welcomed the possibility of becoming the brave person she always wanted to be. This was her turning point. Now, she felt free as she stood in front of her team, more confident than ever. As Adeline stood in front of her team, speaking her truth became a powerful mechanism for her emotional growth. Yet her heart still raced as she faced the panel of executives. She could feel the nervous energy rush through her body, ready to either lift her up or pull her down. Just as she finished her heartfelt speech, she noticed a colleague named Tom frowning at her. It was as if the room grew colder. His face showed confusion, and she wondered if he disagreed with what she said. In that moment, negative thoughts crept back in, telling her she had made a mistake. Instead of spiraling into those worries, she chose to pause and breathe. Taking a deep breath helped Adeline regain her composure. She remembered what her therapist said about self-regulation. Control your emotions instead of letting them control you, she had advised. With clear intent, Adeline focused on calming herself. She did not want her anxiety to take over and ruin this moment. So, she took a breath and prepared to address Tom directly. With a steady voice, she approached the situation, stepping into her role with strength. Adeline, I just don't understand your approach. Tom said, his voice dripping with doubt. His words felt like heavy stones, ready to weigh her down. In the past, she would have pushed Tom's opinions aside or become defensive. But today felt different. She put her own feelings aside for a moment and focused on Tom's perspective. She could see that nothing personal was directed at her. He simply saw things differently. Taking a second to think, she realized he too cared about the project and wanted it to succeed. Remembering the importance of empathy, Adeline spoke back with assurance. I understand that you have different ideas, Tom. Let's talk about them instead of arguing over our points. We can grow from this together. With those words, she felt more at ease. She was taking control of her emotions and also listening to what Tom needed. Instead of creating conflict, she was healing the space around them in a tough moment. The calmness in her voice surprised even her, and she smiled as she spoke confidently. I think we can work on this concept together. Your ideas matter, and I am here to listen to them. Each sentence reinforced her goal. As she invited Tom to share his thoughts, she realized that this was more than just a meeting. It was a chance for all of them to feed off each other. It was an opportunity for connection. Her colleagues looked from Adeline to Tom, shifting the room's energy. Slowly, Tom's expression softened as he began to share his views. Adeline watched him, feeling the shadows of doubt recede. By lowering her walls, she found that they could move through the tension together. They brainstormed, and ideas began to flow, becoming a beautiful collaboration. Through her determination to apply emotional intelligence, Adeline managed to hold on to her calm, even when challenges tested her. What had been the threat of a meltdown transformed into a chance for unity. In this critical moment, she broke free from the past, learning to express her needs without fear. For the first time, she felt a true connection with her team. Rather than feeling trapped by her old habits, Adeline discovered the power of communication and understanding, enlivened by collective energy. The path toward emotional intelligence and healing was becoming a vibrant journey for her, filled with hope and positive change. As Adeline engaged with her colleagues, she felt a wave of relief wash over her. The tension, which had been thick only moments before, began to lift. Ideas flowed freely in the room as she listened to Tom and others share their views. Instead of feeling small and inadequate, she felt part of a team filled with energy and support. They were building something new together, and it felt both exciting and uplifting. Adeline noticed how her fears melted away with each positive interaction. Every time someone spoke, she strengthened her thoughts. When Tom shared an idea or raised a concern, Adeline responded with understanding. That's a great point, Tom. Let's explore that. I think it can strengthen our project, she suggested. Their minds were like gears turning together, blending creativity and perspectives to create something richer. Instead of feeling worried all the time about being right or receiving praise, Adeline learned to enjoy the collaboration. It felt special to be working together. At this moment, Adeline realized something important. Emotional intelligence was not just about controlling feelings, it included recognizing the value of connection. She remembered why she began this journey, to heal and also to grow. Each time she practiced understanding and listening, she increased her sense of cohesion within the team. Watching how everyone played off each other inspired her. The warmth in the room wrapped around her like a cozy blanket. The meeting continued in this surprising direction, and Adeline felt her confidence rising. The feedback from her colleagues changed from critical and heavy to supportive and thoughtful. She began to embrace her role as a leader, guiding her team through challenges with empathy and encouragement. Her heart blossomed with pride, realizing how far she had come. A smile stretched across her face. She believed she was becoming a better version of herself. When someone challenged an idea, instead of hiding or feeling defensive, Adeline welcomed the feedback. I appreciate your honesty, she said. Let's take a moment to brainstorm together. How can we make this part even better? She noticed how her calmness seemed to invite others to join her in affirmation rather than persecution. This attention to emotional needs changed the dynamics of the meeting. Every voice in the room was valued and cherished. Adeline's journey toward emotional intelligence became clearer as she navigated this pivotal moment. It was as if a fog had lifted, and her path shone bright. With small, brave choices, she encouraged solidarity and support where before so often there had been tension and fear. When the meeting finally wrapped up, there was a sense of accomplishment among everyone. The project had become a true collaboration, not just ordinary work. As they finished, Tom smiled and said, "Great job, Adeline! Your words lifted us all." Adeline felt warmth in her chest, unlike anything she had experienced in a long time. This positive affirmation from her colleague meant so much more than just praise. It was a recognition of her emotional growth. She realized that by using self-regulation, empathy, and assertiveness, she had overcome her fears and doubts. The power of emotional intelligence had genuinely shaped how she interacted with others. That day, in the heart of the meeting, Adeline forged beautiful roots of confidence that would grow even deeper. The doubts and fears that once felt overwhelming were transforming into the building blocks of her new self. She was not only learning to express herself but was also inspiring growth in others. Adeline's heart swelled with gratitude as she embraced this new path. This was not just the act of changing her relationships at work, it was a shift within her. Today marked the day she would always remember, the beginning of a brighter future. As Adeline took steps toward healing, she felt a shift within her. The atmosphere around her was lighter, filled with possibility. Every day became an opportunity for growth. With renewed spirit, she began actively applying the techniques she had learned in therapy. Each practice reinforced the lessons that had changed her life. She was determined to embrace these methods without hesitation. She started with meditation, setting aside 10 minutes each morning to focus her thoughts and breathe deeply. At first, it was difficult to keep her mind still. Thoughts buzzed around like bees. Yet, after a few weeks, she noticed the buzzing quiet down. With each breath, she found a small piece of calm within. Adeline also continued journaling, which had been her friend through tough times. Each night, she would sit down and write about her day. She described both the good moments and the hard ones. With the help of the pen, Adeline could unpack her feelings. Writing became a tool for self-reflection. "Today, I felt joy when I helped my friend," she wrote one evening. "And I faced a challenge during a meeting, but I communicated well." Celebrating her successes built her self-worth back up. If a difficult day could shift into growth, then every day felt possible. She also decided to gradually detox from social media. While connecting with others online had once felt good, it now often led to uncertainty. Instead of spending hours scrolling through endless posts, Adeline focused more on her life outside of the screen. On weekends, she explored new hobbies. She took a painting class, discovering a passion for creativity that had long been hiding away. In those joyful moments, she felt herself connecting with the world anew. With her new activities, Adeline was setting healthier emotional boundaries too. She learned to say no when she needed rest and set limits on how often she checked her phone. Whenever she felt tempted to find validation online, she instead turned her focus to things that filled her spirit. Going for walks in nature, reading books, and enjoying time with loved ones helped replace the restless urge to scroll. As a result, Adeline felt more present. The world around her brightened as she engaged fully in each moment. Each small decision became a step toward empowerment. Adeline began to notice how she breathed more easily, laughed more frequently, and cherished her relationships. Positive changes flowed into her life, uplifting her spirit. During a coffee date with a friend, they talked openly about their dreams and fears. Adeline was now able to share not only her accomplishments but also her struggles. Her friend listened with care, and Adeline felt the value of genuine connection in her heart. In daring to open up instead of hiding behind a perfect image, Adeline had rebuilt her self-worth. Instead of striving for the approval of others, she began to appreciate who she was. She learned that transformation was an ongoing journey worth taking. Each day brought new chances for emotional growth. This phase felt alive with hope. Adeline understood that it would not always be easy. But she had learned to embrace her emotions. Gaining tools through self-care practices filled her with confidence. Each moment of strength reminded her that she had the power to transform her mindset and emotions. Adeline was actively writing her own story, reconnecting with true happiness. She felt empowered, knowing she could shape her future based on every choice she made. The path toward healing was not a solitary journey. It was a beautiful adventure unfolding day by day. As the weeks passed, Adeline felt the positive changes in her life becoming clearer and stronger. Each step on her journey felt like a crucial part of her transformation. Attending therapy regularly became a priority. Now, instead of viewing sessions as a burden, she saw them as a safe space to open her heart and mind. In these meetings, she learned more about herself and the power of vulnerability. Each week was a new milestone, where she could talk about her progress, her setbacks, and her dreams. Therapy became a flicker of light guiding her forward when dark thoughts tried to creep back in. Establishing meaningful emotional boundaries became another vital breakthrough for Adeline. She no longer feared saying no when she needed time for herself. "I can't join this weekend," she told a friend one Friday, and instead of feeling guilty, she felt proud. Taking time for self-care was just as important as helping others. As she learned to respect her needs, Adeline's self-esteem grew. No longer did she look to others for validation. The strength she once sought outside began to blossom within her. Journaling remained a fruit of Adeline's consistent effort. Night after night, she poured her thoughts onto the pages. The emotions poured out like rain after a long drought. Writing became her refuge, a place where stress melted away. She recorded not just her challenges, but her victories. "I handled a tough situation today," she wrote during one of her entries. "Instead of shutting down, I shared my feelings." On days when anxiety nudged its way back into her mind, she could read those entries, reminding her how far she had come. Every childlike drawing, every doodle or word, seemed to sing a melody of hope. Mindfulness practices also started to shape her daily habits. Adeline found joy in focusing on the present. Instead of worrying about the future or replaying the past, she trained her mind to observe moments. During a simple cup of tea, she would take time to savor each sip. She became aware of how warm the cup was in her hands and how comforting the smell of chamomile felt. Moments like these grounded her in the present and kept anxiety at bay. This practice helped Adeline learn that being in the moment was a gift. Even her decision to detox from social media brought exciting changes. She began to notice how much happier she felt without endless online scrolling. Instead of ruminating over likes and comments, Adeline focused on her real-life connections. With each day away from the screen, she felt lighter, and each small victory kept her motivated. A week without social media turned into a month, and she discovered joy in making plans with friends more intimately and effectively. All of these steps revealed a clearer picture of Adeline's transformation. Her self-esteem was steadily growing, and her anxiety started to diminish over time. She noticed fewer moments of paralyzing worry in her life. Emotional stability became a new friend. She began engaging in conversations without fear of judgment. Even when challenging feelings arose, she now had the tools to cope. Adeline was becoming a reservoir of strength and resilience. Each week painted a detailed portrait of recovery and healing. Life no longer felt overwhelming but was instead filled with hope and possibilities. The path ahead appeared brighter with each stride, encouraging Adeline to dig deeper into her newfound strength. She was climbing a mountain of emotional growth, and with determination she held her head high, ready to embrace her new chapter in life. The urgency to continue this path sparked a flame inside her, urging her to become the best version of herself. As the months rolled by, Adeline stood at the edge of a new chapter in her life. The journey of healing had transformed her in ways she never expected. She felt like she had awakened from a long sleep, ready to embrace the world around her. No longer trapped in old habits or fearful of judgment, Adeline had found a healthier, more authentic version of herself. This transformation brought a sense of calm and joy that filled her heart. Adeline began her days with intention, blending manifestation and mindfulness. Every morning, she would take a moment to appreciate who she was. "I am worthy, just as I am," she would say aloud. It became a gentle reminder that her self-worth did not depend on others' approval. This practice of self-love blossomed within her. As she looked in the mirror each morning, she saw not just a reflection but a woman capable of great things. These daily affirmations slowly rewrote the story she had told herself for years. Through therapy, Adeline gained a profound understanding of psychological wellness. She learned that caring for her mind was not a duty but a privilege. It was not something to be pushed aside with busy schedules or external pressures. Instead, it became a treasure she cherished. She started to explore new facets of mental health, focusing on creativity and connection. Painting, dancing, and connecting with friends energized her spirit and kept anxiety at bay. These new hobbies filled her days with color and laughter. As she navigated life, Adeline recognized the importance of internal validation. On days when challenges arose, instead of seeking comfort in likes or comments on social media, she remembered the skills she had developed. Adeline remembered her journal and the safe space it provided. So, she picked it up and renewed her commitment to writing. Each evening, she reflected on her experiences, emotions, and triumphs of the day. This practice reinforced her control, reminding her that she decided how to react. Although Adeline had come far, she knew mental health required ongoing care. She understood it was not a straight path. With every step forward, there could be moments of doubt or confusion. Yet now, instead of letting anxiety win, she had learned ways to cope. If a situation felt overwhelming, she would pause, breathe deeply, and remind herself of the tools she had earned. Practicing mindfulness helped calm her mind in turbulent times. Adeline's heart overflowed with hope and determination as she gained emotional resilience and compassion. She found that life's challenges could be met with grace rather than fear. No longer did the weight of expectations crush her spirit. Instead, she breathed with ease, acknowledging that setbacks were parts of the journey, not failures. With this clarity, Adeline embraced every part of her life, right down to the small, ordinary moments. This new equilibrium empowered her to move through life with confidence. Friends noticed the shift in her energy and demeanor. Adeline became a source of strength and compassion, guiding others toward their paths of self-discovery. The connections she had both inspired and strengthened formed a glowing tapestry that celebrated growth and understanding. Adeline continued to pursue her passions, surrounding herself with positive energy. As she thrived, she reminded herself and those around her that everyone has the power to transform their mindset and emotions. Feeling in control of their growth was essential. With a warm smile, Adeline encouraged others, believing in the beauty of their individual journeys. The story of her life was no longer shaped by fear or doubt. It was written with courage, authenticity, and love. The future sparkled brightly, holding endless possibilities as she embraced her beautiful life ahead. Adeline looked around her life and smiled. She had come so far, and the change was visible in every corner of her world. Her relationships were now healthier and fuller. No longer did she feel the constant need for approval from others. Instead, she surrounded herself with friends who encouraged her journey. They celebrated victories together and supported each other during tough moments. Adeline felt supported, proving that great friendships are built on honesty and acceptance. She had learned to affirm herself, embracing who she was inside. With a newfound strength, she made confident decisions each day. At work, she spoke up with clarity during meetings. Her ideas flowed naturally as she shared her thoughts. Instead of fearing feedback, Adeline welcomed it, knowing it was an opportunity for growth. When a colleague asked her to take on a challenging project, Adeline felt the thrill of excitement instead of fear. "Yes, I can do this," she said with a smile. Her commitment to embracing new challenges reflected her internal transformation. Living a balanced lifestyle became a staple in Adeline's life. She understood that taking care of her mind and body was important. Every morning, Adeline started her day with a mini routine, 10 minutes of meditation, followed by a nourishing breakfast. These simple habits fueled her day and helped her stay grounded. As she continued to explore the balance between work and relaxation, she found peace in nature during weekend hikes. The beauty of the outdoors filled her heart with joy. Each step on the trail reminded her to slow down and appreciate life. Adeline knew that mental wellness was not a one-time event, it was ongoing. She understood that challenges would come, but now she was equipped with powerful emotional tools to face them. Both journaling and mindfulness practices helped her stay in tune with her feelings. Whenever anxious thoughts crept back in, Adeline would pause, breathe, and remind herself of the progress she had made. Each challenge was a chance to learn, not a cause for despair. Taking positive actions expanded beyond just herself. Adeline decided that she wanted to help others feel the same strength she had discovered. She began volunteering at a local community center, where she facilitated workshops on emotional intelligence and self-care. Sharing her learned experiences not only balanced her sense of purpose but also strengthened the connections within her community. Helping others became a mission that filled her heart with joy. Adeline's life, once tiny and filled with fear, now stretched wide with endless possibilities. She stood confidently in knowing that every step taken to nourish her emotions created a ripple effect. The world became a beautiful canvas, and she held the paintbrush. The colors she chose to create were ones of love, compassion, and understanding for herself and others. For those who might struggle just as she once did, Adeline had a heartfelt message: healing is possible, and you have the power. It begins with small actions, an affirmation, a moment of mindfulness, a breath of fresh air among trees. Taking each step forward builds resilience, and remembering to return to those practices will nurture personal growth. With warmth and clarity, Adeline cheered everyone on along their journeys. She wanted them to experience the same awakening. Yes, the road may bend and twist, but each person could transform their lives through confident choices and supportive relationships. Inner peace matters more than any external approval, and with practical tools, everyone could navigate life's challenges with kindness and strength. Knowing this truth, Adeline closed her journal, her heart filling with gratitude for the journey ahead, excited to embrace all that life had to offer.